Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. On my last trip out to Colorado, I stopped at the Phoenix gold mine and I picked up some hard rock gold ore. It's supposed to be really high grade ore, so I thought we'd take it out to the garage today, crush it up, pan it out, and see if we can find any gold in it. Here's a little closer look at the gold ore that I picked up from Phoenix gold mine in Colorado when we were out there doing some prospecting. Looks like some really mineralized gold ore. I don't remember, it's been about a year since we were out there, so I don't remember exactly what I paid for this ore. I'm guessing it was in the neighborhood of $100. What I really wanted to do was just bring some home and crush it and see how it worked when you crushed it and panned it. So let's throw it on the scale and see how much it weighs. Looks like about exactly 5 pounds. We're out at the panning station. I have a piece of tube steel that's welded to a piece of angle iron. I'm going to use that for my tube to crush up our gold ore from Colorado. I went to the local antique store yesterday, picked up a couple old chisels. Some of them are flat on the ends, so we're going to use that to try and crush up some of the ore. We're going to classify it through a kitchen strainer. We're going to try and crush everything to the point that it'll get classified through a kitchen strainer. I'm sure we're gonna make a mess, but I also picked up this sledgehammer head that I put a string on. I thought maybe that might work to help crush some gold ore. I've never crushed gold ore before, so hopefully we can get these 3 big pieces of ore crushed up. There's one more piece already in the tube, one more smaller piece in the tube. So I'm going to start crushing ore and we'll see how it goes. This is kind of what the ore looks like once it gets broken up. You can see there's a ton of pyrite in it. I'm curious to see if there's any free mill gold in it. There's supposed to be free mill gold in it, but we'll find out once we pan it. Okay, I wanted to turn the camera back on for a little bit. This actually decided to just crush 2 of the 4 pieces of ore. I broke into these 2 bigger pieces of ore that had like all the darker iron type mineralization on the outside of them. And they're actually really nice samples on the inside, so I decided that I want to keep those as like samples for my mineral display. This piece has some really cool veining through the gray and red, iron colored, rust colored veining through the beige colored host rock. It's got a really cool vein of pyrite running through it. Just decided that it would be nice to have these in the specimen cabinet that I've been building. I have a gem and mineral collection in the basement, so I'm actually going to finish. We're about halfway through. This is what we've crushed so far. I'm going to finish crushing up the rest of this. And then I'm going to put this back on the scale. I'm guessing it's about 2.5 or 3 pounds of rock. I'm guessing we're going to end up crushing about 2 or 2.5 pounds of ore, which is going to solve my curiosity of if there's actually gold in it. We'll pan through this and see whether or not there's actual free milling gold in it. That'll give us a decent idea, I think, of what's in the rest of it. And I also saved some of these smaller samples. Just have a lot of mineralization in them. I want to keep a couple of these smaller samples. A lot of times when the neighbor kids come over and younger kids in my family come over, it's nice to have some of these samples to pass out. They can take them home with them, start their own little rock collections. When I saw things like this on these samples, how it's really highly mineralized, looks like a lot of iron content mixed with the pyrite, and like not 100% positive. I haven't put a loop or anything on it, but I think there's actually a couple little specks of copper in there also. So just wanted to add them to my collection. So okay, we're over at the panning station. I cleaned out some of the cold water from yesterday and added a little warm water to the station. It's about 22 degrees outside today, so didn't want to freeze when I was panning, so I'm going to add a little more jet dry to help break the surface tension of the water. I wanted to show you the tools that I picked up, which ones work the best for crushing the ore. These are the 5 different types of tools I used in my little metal crusher. This heavier 7/8 inch bar that I picked up was flat on one end. It was already a little bit flat on that end, and I proceeded to make it even flatter. Was the longest, heaviest bar that I had, and it seemed to work the best crushing the ore up. I just put the ore in the bottom of the tube and hit the top with a hammer and just smashed it till it went through the kitchen strainer. So these are the sample pieces that I wanted to save. I'm going to start by rinsing those off, washing those off a little bit. Just want to get the dust off of them, and if there's any gold on them, it'll drop in the catch pan, and I'll find it when I pan back through everything the second time. So I'm going to start with that first, and then we'll move on to this. There's probably close to 2 pounds of crushed ore in there. This is just a soft bristled brush. I'm just going to use that to help wipe the dust off the ore. I'm just going to use that to help clean the ore off. Just really like the contrast in some of these samples with the really dark mineralization and the really shiny pyrite. I have a feeling that this material is going to make the water really black. So I'm going to try and do just a little bit of it at a time. Alright, I'm going to see if I can get this on camera. That's a piece of flour gold right there. There's a couple other smaller pieces underneath of it. But that's about what we're going to be panning for through this. It's definitely going to be challenging. Definitely have to be patient. Probably the first decent sized piece of gold I've seen. You can see it just peeking out on the edge of the material right there at the top of my finger. I'm going to suck that up with a snuffer bottle and then we'll keep going. There's another little piece of gold right there at the top of my finger. Right in the middle of my finger. Okay, I'm going to pan back through all the tailings a second or then third time. Then I'm going to change out the water, get everything cleaned out, and I'll bring you back to show you when I clean out the snuffer bottle what that looks like. Alright, I panned through the tailings a couple times. I got the snuffer bottle cleaned out into a pan. I just dumped the dirty water out of the pan. Then I changed out the water in the panning station for some cleaner, warmer water. So sorry about the fog, if you can see the fog coming up off the water. Just wanted to warm my hands up for the first time in a while. Let's see if I can clean up this gold that we had in the snuffer bottle a little better and get you a look at it. There is some decent sized pieces. I wasn't expecting to find a ton of gold, only crushing about 2.5 pounds of ore, since I don't know what that mine averages, but they crush tons of ore to find ounces of gold. So when you're crushing 2,000 pounds of ore to find a ½ ounce or an ounce of gold, you can't expect to find very much gold in 1 or 2 pounds of ore. But I am glad that we found some, just to prove that it's actually gold ore. See if I can push these together a little bit. It's the gold right there. Looks like 2 decent sized flakes, and then there's, I don't know, a lot of microscopic gold. There's a little bigger piece, 2 little bigger pieces right there, maybe 3. It's definitely not going to weigh anything on the scale, but I'm excited that it was gold ore, that we did find something for crushing some of it. I'm also kind of glad that I decided to stop about halfway and pan the first half out first. I'd be a little disappointed if I crushed all that gold ore and found 5 tiny little specks of gold. At least now I can add a few of those pieces to my mineral cabinet for some specimens. So I'm gonna get this gold sucked up, get it in a vial, and we'll run downstairs and put the gold specimens away. I'll show you guys the mineral cabinet. Hey, this is my basement. This is the gem and mineral cabinet I've been working on. Took an old cabinet that we bought at an antique store. Brought back some of the gems and minerals that we were mining for in North Carolina. Then I added a little bit of lighting. We have some arrowheads that we found, some rough emerald gemstones that we found in North Carolina. This is the same thing. Some broken pieces of agate. A geode that we broke open. It's kind of like agate on the inside. We found some of these crystal quartz points in North Carolina, some rose quartz. We have a little jar of some of the nicer garnets that I found over the years, gold panning. A little jar of pyrite. I just started sorting out. I just built this shelf out of reclaimed wood. It's just 2 little, it's 1 piece, but it's 2 shelves to kind of display the gemstones. There's some smaller pieces of amethyst in here. This is another piece of rough emerald gemstone. This is a jar of smaller rough emeralds that we found in North Carolina. And then some of this stuff down here, all of this is petrified wood that I found out on one of our hunting properties. There's a washout in an old minimum maintenance road, and there's a tree stump buried there that got petrified. So about every spring when I go out turkey hunting, I pick up some of the petrified wood that the water washes out of it in the winter when the snow melts. This is a really big piece of it. I've sent some pieces with the neighbor kids and my son to school to show their teachers, or take it for show and tell, or add it to their teachers' displays also. And these are some agate slices, really thin. They just sit on a stand. I actually bought those at one of the mines in North Carolina. And then this stuff right here, some of it I picked up when we were out and about gem mining. Some of it a couple pieces I ordered off of eBay from a mineral supplier. There's a couple more pieces of gold ore. That's got a lot of pyrite in it. I'm still looking for a rusty antique gold pan to put right there. I'm looking for something to cover these foam blocks up. I just put foam blocks in there so I could have different tiers to put minerals on, but it's a work in progress. I haven't really found anything that I like yet to cover them up. Piece of black felt or something, or I might end up spray painting them. And if I turn all the lights off in the basement, you can see this little black box right here. I have the camera really close. If I back it up, you can't see it anymore. But if I turn all the lights off, that's a shortwave UV light. See if I can get you guys a good look at. This is Willemite from Willemite, New Jersey. Everything that's like lime green, looks lime green kind of, and orange, neon green and orange. And this is one of the pieces that this piece right here, this light blue piece is one of the pieces that I bought on eBay. I don't know if you've seen the UNC Tar Heel hats that I wear. I'm a Tar Heel basketball fan. Thought it was really cool that piece glows Tar Heel blue under UV light. This piece right here looks like it rubbed up against that piece just a little bit once. So there's a little bit of Tar Heel, or a little bit of blue in the middle of it right there. But you need to just take a brush and brush the dust off of it. It's kind of like having a museum style mineral collection in the basement. and then I just pick up a piece here and there whenever I'm out prospecting. Most of it's, I'm sure I'll get another piece or two when I'm in Asheville this summer. We're going to go to Asheville this summer and do some gem mining. See if we can find some big garnets. I'll try and film an episode of that when we're out there. And I've also been looking for like an old mining lantern to go back in that corner. So that's what the gem cabinet looks like. So that's what my gem and mineral cabinet that I've been working on the last 5 years looks like. So hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos, and thanks for watching.